Managing Cisco switches. First, Catalyst switches. These new switches support gigabit Ethernet interface with 1 Gbps LAN or 10 gigabit, that means 10 Gbps uplink. Now it is called Catalyst switches. Cisco switches is also called Catalyst switches. And as you can see, if you see in the figure here, as you can see here in the figure, I'll show you the figure also. The front side of 2960 switch contains several LEDs that are used for checking the switch's performance and activity. In left side it contains a mode button with the 5 LEDs. So as you can see here, this is the front panel of front side of this 2960 series switch. 2900 series 2900 series switch, it is 2960, and it contains this is the front side and this is the back side, if you can see. Now in this, if you see, there is only one button here. There is only one button in the front side, and when you go to the back side there is no button there, because switches we don't switch off. Normally switches we don't have switch on and off button there. We have only one button, that is called mode button. And here in this side we have different LEDs. These are different color LEDs are there, which indicates the status of the switch. And these are the ports. And on those ports we have these LEDs up there. It is indicating also the status of switches, that what is the status of switch currently. And in the back side, if you see, we have one port. It is RJ45 port, and this is console port. Console port where we can connect the cable to configure the switch. Just like we configure the router, we can also configure the switch by using this console port. Then we have a cooling fan here, exhaust fan. Then we have an option to power supply. There is one more option here. This is also power supply, RPS outlet. This is also a power supply, you can say direct power, direct DC power we can give from here. So this is how it looks. Now what we have here, we have only one button, that is this mode button. And this mode button is to change the mode of switch, how it works. And it indicates those different modes by these system LEDs. And these are the LEDs which we have here. Now first it is SysT LED. Now this one indicates the attached power supply. That means when you have a power supply attached, then you can see this light is blinking or this light is on. Then if you have RPS LED, this one is RPS LED, RPS. It indicates the RPS status. RPS status is the, you can see here in the back side. This is also a backup power supply, we can say direct DC. So if we have that power supply connected, then we can see this LED lighting. Then this state LED indicates the port status. That means what is the status of your port. Then this DPLX is the duplex LED, which indicate the port duplex status. Duplex, that means whether it is full duplex or half duplex. Then this SPD indicates the speed of the Ethernet port. That means whatever the speed we have on that port. So as we see the switch, we can see these things. We can see the ports in the front side where we can connect different machines, and we can see these LED lights which is indicating the status of the switch. And we have only one button, one mode button to change the mode of our switch. Now first, this SysT LED. This SysT LED or system LED shows whether the system is receiving power and is functioning properly. If the LED is off, it means the system is not powered on, and if the LED is green, the system is operating normally. And if the LED is amber, that means the system is receiving power but is not functioning properly. So whenever you see this LED and if it is in amber state, that means your switch is having a hardware problem. If it is green, that means everything is okay and everything is operational, and the power is off, then you will not see anything on that LED. Then second LED is what? This RPS LED. This RPS LED is for the redundant power system, or we can say RPS LED, and it shows the RPS status. RPS means it is a redundant power system, and if the LED is off, the RPS is off or not properly connected, and if the LED is green, the RPS is connected and ready to provide backup power. And this is for backup power, so if you have, then you connect, and if you don't want, then if you don't connect, still it will work. And if the LED is blinking green, the RPS is connected but is unavailable because it is providing power to another device. So if it is green, that means we are already on the main power supply, and if the LED is amber, the RPS is in standby mode or in the fault condition. And if the LED is blinking amber, that means the internal power supply in the switch has failed and the RPS is providing the power. So as you can see, if it is green, that means the RPS is attached and operational. So it is attached and working. And if it is amber, that means the RPS installed but is not operational. Check the RPS to ensure that it hasn't failed. Then flashing amber, that means both the internal power supply and the external RPS are installed, but the RPS is providing the power. So when you are having a backup power, then this light will flash the amber green, amber color. And when it is off, that means the RPS is not installed. So it is not necessary that always you will have the RPS. So sometime if you don't have RPS installed, then it will give you off. The light will be off. Then the next LED is the state LED. This state LED, or we can say port status LED, indicates that the port status mode is selected when the LED is green, and this is the default mode. So whenever we connect any port, any device into any port of the switch, you will see the light will become green. When the selected port, the port LEDs will display color with different meanings. If the LED is off, there is no link, or the port was administratively shut down. So port can be in a both condition. If it is down, which is not connected, or if it is administratively down, that means it is disabled by the administrator. In both cases, the LED will not blink, it will go off. A link is present if the LED is blinking green, there is activity and the port is sending or receiving the data. And when you see the LED is green and blinking, that means the port is active and it is working, it is sending and receiving the data. And if the LED is alternating green amber, there is a link fault. So if you see the alternating green or amber, then you will see that the port may be having a fault. And if the LED is amber, that means the port is blocked to ensure a loop and does not exist in the forwarding domain and is not forwarding the data. Remember, we talked about the loop, layer 2 loop in previous lecture, and it creates a very much problem in a network, in a layer 2 network. So for blocking the loop, we have STB protocol, and STB protocol do what? It blocks the port. It will not disable the port, it will not shut down the port, it will block the port. And in that case, the color of the LED will show up like amber. So that means the STP is working and STP is blocking the port to avoid the looping. Typically port will remain in this state for the first 30 seconds after being activated, and if the LED is blinking amber, the port is blocked to prevent a possible loop in the forwarding domain. Now whenever we start the switch and first time when you connect any device, then what, it will remain in this state, this amber state, for 30 seconds. That means by default when you connect any device in the switch, it will not activate directly, just because of STP and to provide the avoid the loop. It do what, it wait for 30 seconds and it wait for that any loop, is it any loop is there or not. When it is show, when STP make sure that there is no loop, then the port will get active, and for that it will take at least 30 seconds. So whenever we connect the switch, connect any device into the switch, it will wait for 30 seconds, it will show amber color, and after that it will blink and it will start sending and receiving the data. And in case STP sees that there is a loop, then what it will do, it will keep blocking the port and it will go into amber color. And this is what the description of those colors. Like green means it is powered up and physical layer connection to the device is attached to the port, that means it is physically connected. Flashing green, that means the traffic is entering and or leaving the port. And flashing green and amber, that means an operational problem is occurring with the port, perhaps excessive errors or a connection problem. Then amber means the port has been disabled, manually shut down, disabled because it is in a blocking state, blocking STP state, or disabled because of security issue. So there is one more option, there is one more thing which is called port security. So if it is violating the condition of port security, then also it will be blocked and disabled by the security, port security, and also it will show amber color. And when it is off, that means there is no power up and physical layer connection exists on the port. So there is no connection connected, so it will show off. Now duplex LED, this is also we can say port duplex LED, and it indicates the port duplex mode is selected when the LED is green, and when the port LEDs are off, they are in half duplex mode, and if the port LED is green, the port is in full duplex mode. So this is very simple. It only indicate the duplex of the system of the port. When it is in half duplex, that means the port it is off, and when it is in full duplex, you will see it is in green color. Then speed LED, it indicates the port speed mode is selected, and when the selected, the port LEDs will display colors with different meanings. That means when you select, we can change this by using the mode button. So we can select this as we can select the speed mode for the switch, and when you select that, then what happened, the ports LED will display colors with different meanings. That means all the ports LED which is indicating the port color, port connection status, these LEDs which is up on the port, they will display in different colors when you select different speed mode with the different meanings. That means if the LED is off, the port is operating at 10 Mbps, and if the LED is green, the port is operating at 100 Mbps, and if the link is blinking green, the port is operating at 1000 Mbps. So this indication of speed by this speed LED. So if we want to see it, we can see it in the, if you want to see the physical switch, then we can see it in packet tracer. Okay, in the packet tracer, if suppose I select one switch here, this is 2960 switch, same. If I go, I put it here, and I want to see the physical. So I click on it and I'll go to physical view, and this is how it looks. So as we can see here, these are the ports, and these ports are having these LEDs here up. These are port LEDs, and these are the other LEDs which we can see here in this side, and there is a button called mode button. With this button we can change the mode of these mode of the switch, and we can see the changes in these port LED buttons. We can change the port to half duplex to full duplex. We can change the speed mode, so we can see those LEDs blinking in different colors. Back side it is not showing because in this is our packet tracer, so we can't see the front size or back side. We can see the only front size. Now whenever we connect any device here, let's suppose I connect one PC here, so it shows the port LED here, and you can see it will take some time. It will take 30 seconds to make it into green. Now you see it is amber. Here in the PC side it is green already, but in the switch side it is still in amber color. Wait, let me remove this port option, port name. Now we can see it is still amber color in this switch side, because the port of the switch is still not enabled. It is still waiting for STP to clear the port as a no loop. So if STP protocol sees there is no loop, then it will activate it, and now it is activated. Now both are green now. So whenever we connect any device into the switch, it will take some time to activate it because of STP. Now again I connect another device, and again you can see it is green on the PC side because PC port is enabled, but on the switch side it is still in amber color and it is waiting for STP to clear. So if there is no loop, then only it will activate, and it will wait for 30 seconds. And after 30 seconds it will activate, because there is no loop, because the port is only connected to the machine. Now it is activated, and if it is having a loop, then it will not activate. So Cisco switch and the iOS command mode. Now Cisco switches run on a proprietary OS known as Cisco iOS, and iOS is a group of commands used for monitoring, configuring, maintaining Cisco devices. All the Cisco devices, we can say, even a router. For security and easy administration, iOS commands are divided in the set of different command modes. So it has already divided into different command modes. Now this is the same iOS we have on router also. Now when I say same, that means it is not that same, it is actually having a difference, but the management, the format, the format it is same. It is like you can see Windows Server 2016 server and also Windows 10 machine. If you see, both the operating systems look same, and you can do almost everything like same. So same Cisco, what Cisco has done, it has used the same iOS format for routers and switches, so that administrators will not feel difficulty working with both the devices. So format of the operating system is same, the iOS is same. In previous versions, like if you go for old switches, so there was a difference between Cisco, the switches iOS, it was different. At least if you go for 1900 switch, if you see the 1900 switch, 1900 series switch, it has a different iOS, it works differently. But nowadays if you use any switches, it has a same iOS. It has a same iOS, that means you will see the same modes, you will see all the same, you can set the password as same. So almost all the commands are same. So like router, we have the same commands here and same modes here. First we have the user mode, which also called user exe. It allows you to connect with the remote device, perform basic tests, temporary changes, terminal settings, list settings informations. It looks like this switch and this percentage symbol. It is called user mode. This is the first mode. We can say it is the login mode also. So when you logged into the system, when you logged into the switch or even a router, you will see this mode first. This is the default mode after booting and login with the password. And if configured, like password if configured, if you configure the password, then you will see this, it will ask the password, otherwise it will directly connect. And command to exit is exit command. So if you want to exit from this mode, then you can run exit command to exit from this mode. And exiting from this mode, that means you are logging out. So you can use logout command also. Then the next mode is privilege mode. It is privilege exe, and this allows you to set operating parameters. It also includes high level testing and list commands like show, copy and debug. These show, copy and debug commands can only work on this mode, this privilege mode, and this uses the enable command from the user exe mode. That means if you want to go to this mode, then you have to run enable command here in this user mode. So when you run enable command here in the user mode, then you will get into this privilege mode. And from exiting the privilege mode, you can use exit command. You can use exit, or even you can use disable also. To get into the mode, you use enable, and to coming out of this mode, you can use disable. Then you have another mode, which is global configuration mode. This contains the commands those affect the entire system. That means if we want to configure anything in our router or switch, then we can only configure it from this mode. It look like this, that switch under the bracket config hash, and it indicates that this is the global configuration mode. And to get into this global configuration mode, we can use the configure terminal command from the privilege mode. So from the privilege mode, we can run the command configure terminal, and we can get into this switch configuration mode. Now it is same in the router also, and to get out of this mode, we can use exit command. Then there is interface configuration. Like if you want to configure any interface, then you can go to interface configuration mode. It contains the commands those modify the operation of an interface. It looks like switch bracket under bracket config if. And if you want to go to this interface mode, you will use interface type and number command from global configuration mode. That means you have to make a name of, you have to give a command interface, then you have to mention the type of the interface and the number of the interface, and then when you press enter, you will get into that interface mode. That means you are get into the interface mode. That means you are in the interface, and then you can configure anything on that interface. You can use exit command to return in the global configuration mode. So if you want to go back to the configuration mode, then you can give exit and you will get out from this interface mode. Then here it is here from this command, it is now different from router. If you see the router iOS and this switch iOS, both are having the same commands and same modes like this. But in routers, we will not have VLAN configuration. This VLAN configuration only we have in the switches. And this VLAN configuration is to create new VLAN or configure, modify, delete existing VLANs. And it looks like this: switch config under the bracket config VLAN. To get into this mode, you can use VLAN command with the VLAN ID from global configuration mode. So we will get into this VLAN configuration mode, and for exiting from here, we can use exit command to return to the previous mode, that is global configuration mode, or we can use the end command also to return to the privilege mode directly. Then we have line configuration mode, where we can configure the lines. We have lines like console line or auxiliary line. These lines are for configuring the connection for our switches or router. So these line configuration commands modify the operation of the terminal line. Terminal line, that the line where we can access our router or switches. Line configuration commands allows always follow a line command which defines a line number. That means if you want to, it look like this, config under the bracket config line, and if you want to go to this line, then it always start from line command. Line, and then you will mention the type of the line like VTY, console, auxiliary, and then you will mention the number of the line. From global configuration mode to enter into the line mode. Then you can configure other options of line. We can use exit command to return to the global configuration mode. So if you want to exit from here, then we can use exit command and we can go back to our global configuration mode. Now let me show you those mode in switches. Even in router also we have same. First we have to access the switch to configure. So for configuring the switch, for accessing the switch or even a router, we have a console port in the router. So you have seen in the image, in the back side of the switch we have console port. In routers we have in the front side. The console port is in the front side. In the switches it is in the back side. So you connect the console cable from the router or switch into the console port, and then the other side we will connect into the PC serial port in the PC, and then we'll go to the PC and we'll open the hyper terminal or even a putty which can access the serial connection, and then we can get the access of our switch or router's command line interface. For example, I will use one PC here. So this PC I am using for configuring the switch. Then I will go to connections, and this cable is called console cable. This console cable is to connect the console port into serial port. So I select this console port, then I click on the switch. Now on the switch you can see there is different ports. We have fast Ethernet ports and these are gigabit ports. But I want to configure it, so I will select console. So I want to connect it into console port. So I'll click on console, and then I will go to the PC and click on it, and in the PC you have USB, you have fast Ethernet, but this is our serial port RS232. So I will select this port. So this is connected to configure the switch, and then what, I will click on this PC, and on the desktop I have this terminal option, and when I click on this terminal option, it shows the information about the configuration of port, speed and baud rate. I will go with the default, and here I can see the interface of command line interface of the switch. It was started here. This is 2960 bootloader for the switch, and it is booting, it is running, it is loading operating system here, it is loading the iOS and everything. And now when I press enter, here we are in the switch, and this is the first mode, which is user mode. So this is how we can access the switch or even a router in a real scenario. But suppose, because this is what packet tracer, so I don't have to go with this, it is virtual. So what I can do, I will not go like this. So what I can do here, because it is a packet tracer virtual thing, I can directly click on this switch, and I can see this is the physical view and this is the command line view. So I can directly get the console access. I don't have to connect it from the console port and like that. So I don't have to go for the real thing, because it is a packet tracer and it is virtual. So I can connect it like this. So when I click on this, I can see the same command line. So it is giving me the console access. Console access, that means after connecting the console port, what access we get, this is the same access. And from here I can configure everything. So let's see, I will show you the modes first. Exit, and it is starting from like this. It is saying here switch console 0 is now available. That means because we are connected through the console, and it says please return, press return to get started. That means press enter to log in. So when you log in, that means when you press enter, that means you are logging in. And if you have not set any password on this, then it will not ask any password. And if you have set any password, then it will not ask any. Then it will ask the password. It will ask the login password. So this is your first mode. Here you can just do some basic things. Then if you want to go to the privilege mode, then from this mode you give command enable and enter, and you will get into privilege mode. And from this privilege mode, if you want to go to the configuration mode, global configuration mode, then you will give command configure terminal, and you will get into configuration terminal. And if you want to go to the interface mode, like so, first the command is interface, then you have to mention the interface which you want to modify. Let's say I want to do modification for fast Ethernet. Then you have to mention the number of the port, because we have too many ports here. If you see the physical view, you have multiple ports. So which port you want to configure? So there is number for these ports. Port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So I can give the number of the port. Number of the port for the switch is like 0 slash, then port number 1, port number 2, port number 3, and so on. So if you want to go to port number 1, then you will say 0 slash 1. And now I am under the interface mode, and now I can configure anything of this interface. If I want to go to exit, then I can press exit and go back to config mode again. If I want to go to the line configurations, line configuration, that means we have only we have a line for console. So I will go for line, then the name of the line console, and then the number of the port. Now we have only one port for console, so it will always be 0. And then I can configure anything of this console line. And you can see here, now I am under the config line mode. To come out of this, I can press exit. I can come out from this config mode by pressing exit again. Go back to the privilege mode, and if I want to go out of this mode, I can press exit, or if I press exit, it will directly come out from all the modes. But I can give disable to go back to user mode, and from here I can press exit, or I can press logout, and it will also exit from that mode. And you cannot go directly from user mode to config mode. You have to go through console mode. You have to go through privilege mode. Otherwise, you are not able to go directly from user mode to console configuration mode. So these are the modes we have. Then what configurations we can do? So first we can set the host name and IP address on the Catalyst switches. So what you can do, you set these items the same way as for a router. That means the same when we do these things, we do configuration, the same configuration we do in the router, we can do the same thing here in the switches also. We can do same thing. The exception is that the IP address is for the entire device as opposed to the router, which has addressed for each interface. You should also know that you can telnet to a switch, but you cannot telnet from it. That means, very simple, the difference between the switch and router is that the host name we can do it on also on router and switch both, but IP, assigning IP address to the switch means assigning the IP address to the total switch. But assigning IP address on router means what? We assign IP address on different interfaces of router. On the switch also we have multiple interfaces. We have more than 20 interfaces. But those interfaces don't contain IP. We don't assign any IP to those interfaces, because those interfaces don't have any IP address. They don't show up. They just connect the devices transparently. Switch does not indicate itself that the switch is there. It is transparently work. It works transparently, so devices don't know about the switch, and that is why we are not assigning any IP address to any interfaces. So the IP address which we are assigning is for the entire switch. And why we assign IP to the entire switch is to connect the switch from remotely. That means we want to connect the switch from another device through network and through the telnet protocol. Then we need IP address of the switch. And why we want to connect the switch? So that we can configure it remotely using the telnet protocol. And for that, what we need an IP address for the switch. So the IP address, assigning IP address to the switch means to assign the IP to the entire switch, not in a particular port. And when you are assigning the IP address, then you can assign the gateway also, and you can assign the domain name also for that switch. That means like a normal PC, we assign IP address, we assign gateway, we assign domain name. Also we can assign the same thing in our switches also. So if we want to configure the switch, then we click enter. This is the first mode. Then if I want to go to the config mode, if I give this command, it won't work here because we can't go directly. We have to go through the enable mode. And also we have a support, like when you press tab, it will complete the command. As you can see, I want to type enable. So I press EN and then press tab, it completes. And also what you can do, you don't have to type the whole command, you can just press EN and press enter. It will also do what? Same thing. And you can do what? You can check, like you want to know what command you can press, then you can give question mark also. So after what command I can give, I press question mark, so it shows that you can give enable or exit. And if I give N and question mark, then it says only enable I can give. And I can press enter from here. For global configuration mode, I will give conf. It is not, I am pressing tab, it is not completing. So if I give question mark, it says you have two options. You can give configure or connect. So I will give F. And then if I give question mark, it is configure only I can give. Now I can press tab. And when I give question mark, it says I can give terminal also. So if I press T and tab, it will complete the terminal. And even I don't have to give the whole command, I can give con F and T, the short form, which is for configuration terminal. And here it says when you enter the configuration mode, it says enter the configuration commands one per line. That means in one line you can enter only one command, and you can anytime end with Control Z. So you can press Control Z to go to the privilege mode anytime. Now if I want to set the host name, I will give command host name. Default name is switch, and on router the default name is router. So whatever the name you want to give, you can just give the name and press enter. It will change the name. Now for configuring the IP address, remember on the switch we have multiple ports. If you see the port switch, if I hover the mouse over the switch in packet tracer, I can see all these ports: fast Ethernet 0/1 to fast Ethernet 0/24. Then I have gigabit Ethernet also. So I have all these ports here. So for configuring the IP address, we should not configure on any particular interface. We configure IP address on switches on for the whole switch. Now for that, what we will do here, we use command interface. Now here, if I give question mark, it shows that whether you want to configure Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet. Now in this switch we don't have Ethernet, but we have fast Ethernet and also we have gigabit Ethernet. But I will not configure IP address on this interface because you configure in first only one interface. It is not for entire switch. So for configuring this the IP address to entire switch, we use this VLAN interface. So I will give VLAN, and VLAN we have option from 1 to 4094 options we have. So I will give 1. This VLAN 1 is the default one, and this default one is for the entire switch. So I will give this interface VLAN 1, and now I am in the interface mode, and now I can configure the interface. And I am configuring the VLAN interface 1, that is belong to the whole entire switch. It is belong to the VLAN ID 1, that is the default VLAN, and default VLAN is by default for all the ports. All the ports of the switches by default belongs to this default VLAN. So configuring the IP address on this VLAN interface, that means configuring IP address for the entire switch. So for configuring the IP address, I will give command IP address, and whatever IP I want, I can give. Then the subnet mask for this is class C, so I'll give. Then by default the ports are disabled, so for enable the ports we will give no shutdown command. And now it says that the port is up, the line protocol is also up. 2 times up, one for the physical thing and one for the virtual thing. So this is how we can configure the port, and then we can exit. Now we can configure the default gateway also. For configuring the default gateway, we don't have to go to the interface, because the gateway will always be one. It is not separated for different interface. Whenever we configure gateway, gateway will always be one for the entire device. So we don't have to go for the interface. We will configure directly IP default gateway command, and then we can mention whatever gateway we have. Gateway is always the router. So I'm assuming that this is my gateway. Then we can also configure domain name. Domain name you can configure any, or whatever the domain name you have. Now this domain name is to configure the domain name is for the SSH configuration. So when you configure SSH, you need this domain name to be configured. So and also if your domain, if your switch is under the domain, then you can mention the domain name also. So this is what the basic configuration for the switch. For example, configuring the name, configuring the IP for the entire switch, so that we can access the switch remotely. Access the switch remotely, that means we can access it from the telnet, but we cannot do telnet from the switch to other device. Like I am on the command line terminal of the switch and I want to do the telnet to other switches or other router or other devices. I can't do that, but I can access the switch through telnet, but switch cannot access anyone. Then other configurations are like setting password on catalyst switches. So other configurations are like setting password for the catalyst switches. Setting password, that means what? By default there is no password, so whenever anyone access the switch, they can access it without any security, any password. That means anyone can access it. So passwords are used to restrict the physical access to switches. We don't want everyone to access the switch. We want only the person who knows the password and who is the authenticated person. So Cisco switch supports console line for local login and VTY for remote login. That means if you want to locally access the switch, then what you do? You connect the cable to the console port of the switch and then you can access it from your PC. And also you can access the switch from remote location. Now remote location, that means you are connected into the network and you are sitting into your machine. You don't have to go to the switch. You can access it from the remote location by using the telnet or SSH. For that we need IP address on the switch, and we have already configured the IP address so that anyone can access it. But by default this VTY configuration is disabled. That means if you try to access it from other machine, from remote machine through telnet, it will not give you access unless you will enable it. So basically when you don't have a password on telnet, then it will not enable, because the telnet is not secure. So without password it is not enabled. So if you try to access it, it will not allow you to access. But if you want to configure the password, then you will configure the password for line VTY, and line console is for the local console port. All supported lines need to be secure for user execute mode. And for example, if you have secured VTY's line, leaving console line unsecure, an intruder can take advantage of it to connect with the device. And once you are connected with the device, all remaining authentications are same and no separate configuration is required for the further modes, and passwords can be set from their respective line mode and enter in the line mode from global configuration mode. So if you have not configured the password, anyone can access it. And even suppose you configure the password for VTY, remote connection, you have not configured for the console, that means anyone can access it locally without password, and when they access it, then they can do anything. For example, if you see here, to access the switch, you can connect the port into the console and you can just access it like this. This is what we are accessing it from console port. And because there is no security, if you can see, when I press enter, I am directly logging in because there is no security, and I am logging in from the console port. So by default this is the port for the default configuration, and that is why it is not having a password by default. And once I logged in, I can go to the privilege mode and then I can go to the config mode and I can do any configuration. So for securing it, what we need is the password on this mode. Now VTY connection, that means you can connect from remote. So if I go to this machine, now this machine I have given IPD to 192.168.1.2, which is within the range of our switch, and the switch is having this IP 192.168.1.50. Now if I try to check the connection between the switch and this machine, 1.50, so I am getting the reply, that means the switch is connected, and that is why we have given the IP to the switch. So I am getting the reply, that means I am connected to the switch. Now I am connected to the switch, then I can access the switch remotely by using the telnet protocol. This telnet protocol is to access remote devices, but remember this protocol is not secure. So for accessing the telnet, through the telnet any device, you give command telnet and then the IP of that machine. So I want to access switch, so I'm giving the IP of that switch, which is 192.168.1.50. Now when I press enter, it says connection to this closed by foreign host. Closed by foreign host. And that means what? It is refusing. The switch is refusing to connect. And why it is refusing? Because there is no password enabled. There is no password set on that VTY line. And when you don't have a password configured, that means the port is not enabled. So when you configure the password, the port is enabled. The VTY connection is enabled. So first you have to configure the password. So first, suppose I want to configure the line password. So first set a console password. So for setting the console password, first you have to go to the enable mode, privilege mode, then from there you go to the configure mode. From there you will give command line and the port name console. There is only one port, it always be 1, so it will always be 0. And then you can set the password. Password, whatever the password you want. The command is password, and then you can give any value as a password. Then this command is also important, login. This command indicates that you want to ask the password. That is, at the login time you want to ask the password. It is just to enable the password basically. Let's configure this first. So I am accessing the switch through console port. You can see console. Now I will go to the enable and the global configuration mode, and here I will give command line and I want to configure console. If you give question mark here, you can see that you have two options, console or VTY. So on the switches we don't have auxiliary, but if you do the same thing on router, you will see auxiliary port also. Auxiliary port is also for configuring those devices. So you have both options, console and auxiliary, but in switches we have only console port, and other is VTY remote terminal. It is virtual terminal. VTY means virtual terminal. Now I want to configure the password on console, so I will select console. Now what option? If I give question mark, it says 00. That means it always be 0 because we have only one console port every time. So always it will be 0. Now I am in the console line mode. Now I will give command password, and then I can give any value as a password. Let's say I will give Cisco. So the password is set as a Cisco. Now I will give login command. Now if you don't give login, then password will remain there, but it will not ask the password. So password will not enable. Password will remain there, but it will not enable. Now it is configured, so I can exit now. Now you see when I press enter, because we have a password now on console, it is asking the password. And it is asking the password is Cisco. So because we configured the password, it is asking the password. But still VTY does not have password. So if I go there and if I try to connect from remote machine, again it is saying connection refused by the foreign host. It is refused by the switch. So console port is still have a password, but VTY is not have a password. So it is still refusing. Now we can set password for VTY also. So term VTY term stand for virtual terminal such as Telnet or SSH. So either we can use Telnet or SSH. Telnet is not secure, but SSH is secure. Switches may support from 5 to thousands of VTY lines. By default, first 0 to 5 lines are enabled. Now, because there is no port here, there is no physical port here, that means anyone can connect from the remote location. That means suppose in our network we have 50 or 100 machines or even 1,000 machines. So all those machines can connect the switch and access the switch remotely by using Telnet. But we can decide here that how many lines we want to enable. So we can enable, when we give a command, then we can decide how many lines we can enable. By default we can enable 0 to 4. 0 to 4 means 5. First 5 lines are enabled. And if we need more lines, we have to enable them manually. That means we have to enable them manually. By default it supports thousands of lines, but it only supports, by default it enables only 0 to 4. So we can add a password on these different lines separately, or we can assign password on all the lines. This 2960 series switch supports 16 lines by default. We can set a separate password for each line. For that we have to specify the number of lines. So basically we can set password for every line, like line 0 we have another password, line 1 we have another password, line 2 we can have another password. That means line 1 means first time when first user connect, it will ask the line 1 password, and that user will logged in, and at that time when another user connects, then it will ask the line 2 password. Then 2 users are connected and third user connect, then it will ask the third line password. But if the user logs out, then it will ask again, it will remain again the 2, like 3 users were logged in. But if one user logged out and then again other user try to log in, then again it will ask the password for the line 3. Now to set the password for the line, we use the command line VTY, and then we can mention the number, either 04, 0 to 4, 0 to 15, the old lines, or you can use 0. If you want to configure only the first line, password for only first line, then you will use 0 to 0. If you want to configure the password for all the 15 lines, then you can configure 0 to 15, all the 16 lines in 2960 series. So we can configure separately or we can configure all. Then we will get into the line mode, and then we can configure the password, and then we can configure login again. Now let's see that. Right now I have 4 machines connected, and what I will do, I will configure different password for 2 lines, and 2 lines I will configure different passwords. So for that I will go to here, privilege mode, then I will go to the config mode. Now this time I will give line VTY. Now when I give question mark, you can see I have option from 0 to 15, that means total 16 lines I have. I can configure separate, like suppose if I want to configure only one line, then I will give 0 to 0. If I want to configure first 2 lines, then I will give 0 to 1, that means 0 and 1. If I want to configure first 3 lines, then I will give 0 to 2, that means 0, 1, 2, 3 lines. If I give 3, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, that means first 4 lines. If I want to configure first 5 lines, then I will give 0, 5, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means total 5. And if I give 0 to 15, that means total 16 lines I want to configure particular. I will do what? I will configure 0 to 1, that means first 2 lines. Enter. Now I can configure the password. Let's say I will configure Telnet as a password. You can give it. Let me give Sai Tel, and then you will mention login. Now I configure the password. Now let's check from the machine. And remember, we configure the password for first 2 lines. So I will try from this machine first. Remember, previously it was not allowing, it was refused by the switch. Now I will try again, and now you can say it is allowing us, but first it is asking the password. So the password I have given is SciTel, and now I can get access. Now remember, this is the first connection and it is still active, so I will not disable this, I will minimize it, and at the same time I will go for the second connection. So connections are for active. First I will check whether it is connected or not. So it is connected to the switch. Now I will try for Telnet. Telnet 50. Again it is asking me the password, that means I can log in. SciTel. Now 2 lines are now available, 2 lines are active and 2 lines are used now. 2 VTY lines 0 to 4. Now I will not minimize, I will not disable this, I will minimize. Now the third line, if I try, first check the connection. It is connected. Now I will do Telnet. Now you see it is saying connection refused. Why? Because we configured only first 2 lines. We have configured password for only first 2 lines. Now remaining lines are not configured, so it is not allowing any access. But if suppose the second line, any of these 2 machines disconnect the connection, suppose I will disconnect it from here, it is still connected, so I will exit from here. Now one connection is exited, so it is exited from here, but it is still logged in from here. It is still logged in from here, so we have only one active connection. Now if I try again here, it is allowing me. So first 2 connections only, whether it is connected by anyone. So if 2 connections are active, then third will be not allowed, and if one of them is out, then the third one, or maybe we can say it is still the second one. So now the 2 connections are active, I am not disconnected, and if I try it from other machine, if I try it from the same machine which we have already done the connection, it was already connected. Now it is refusing this one because we have already 2 available connections used. So very simple. If we want, then I can use different password for the other connections. So this is the password for first 2 connections. So I can set another 2 connections also by setting different password. Now 0 to 1 is already configured. Now I can configure from 2 to 3, and this I will configure password as ABC. Now ABC will be the password for these 2 connections, the rest of the 2 connections. So if I check now, now it was refusing, now it is connecting, but remember it will connect with the different password. If I try SciTel, it is not accepting that password because the password is for first 2 connection, it is already used. So I will try the second and third, like third and fourth connection. So ABC is the password and it is allowing me to connect. This is how we can configure the Telnet, we can configure the VTY. And to the global configuration commands are used to set local user database also. Right now it is only asking the password, it is not asking any username or password username, but we can also configure it in here. Like in the global configuration mode, we can configure the username and password for separate users, so that when we try to connect it, then it will ask the username and password for separate users. Now, along with the user mode password, you will know we can also secure the privilege mode, and there are two commands for it also. That means once we have configured the console password or the line password, to secure the user mode, only it will secure user mode, but it will not secure the privilege mode. That means you see here, when I press enter to go into user mode, to log into the switch, it is asking the password. But when I try to go to the privilege mode, it is not asking any password. So we can configure password here also on this privilege mode. And there is two type of passwords available to secure this privilege mode. So we can configure normal password, we can configure normal enable password, or we can configure enable secret password. The difference of these two is that enable password is the normal old password which you can see easily, but enable secret is the latest secure password which you cannot see, and nobody can see this password actually. It will be hash encrypted. Let me show you that. So first, if you want to see the configuration you have done in the privilege mode, you can run this show command. Show command you can run to see all the configurations you have configured. So for example, whatever we have configured is in the running configuration, which is here in the RAM, which is running. So if you want to see whatever I have configured right now, I can give show running config, and it will show me all the configurations which is running. It is showing me that this is the host name I have configured, this is the domain name I have configured, there is a spanning tree which is enable, spanning tree protocol, and these are the different ports. And these are the different ports which we have not configured till now. I can press enter to see the configurations. And here in this interface, VLAN interface, I have configured the IP address, and this is the gateway I have configured. And here I can see that I have configured the password for console, and you can see the password, what is the password, and I have configured this password on VTY line 0 to 1, and this password I have configured on VTY line 2 to 3. Still we are remaining with VTY 4 and from 5 to 15 where we have not configured any password, but we can see the password what we have configured. We can see the passwords. So if we want to do secure the password, we can, if you want to do create the secure privilege password, then we can use enable secret password. Normal password is still visible. So let's say I want to configure first normal password. So command is enable password, and then whatever the password you want. For example, I want to give password Now when I check show running configuration, you can see the password here. You can see the password, but now password is working. So if I want to go to privilege mode, now I am in user mode, and if I want to go to privilege mode, when I give enable command, it asks the password now. And after giving the password, I can go into the privilege mode. Now after the privilege mode, we are not having any passwords. So when you reach the privilege mode, done. You can do anything now. But it is asking the password, which is not secure actually. If you see show running configuration, you can easily see the password. So for that we have the other type of password which is secure. That is enable secret password. Now once you configure this enable secret password, then the normal password will no longer used. That means that a normal password will be inactive. Then you have to only give the secret password, whatever you mention the secret password. Let's say I will mention sun. Now when you check show run, this was the normal password and this is my secret password, and you can see this is hash encrypted. So if anyone try to see the password, they cannot see because it is encrypted. And now when you have configured the password, then that normal password is no longer used. That means if I now disable and if I want to go to privilege mode, now if I try the old password, normal password, it is not taking it. It is not accepting that password. It says bad password. What password it will accept? It will accept only secret password. So now when I give the secret password, it accepts. So this is what two type of passwords we have. Then after configuring all these, we can save the configurations. Remember, all the configurations we do, it will remain in the RAM. All the configurations in RAM, and all data from RAM is erased when we turn off the device. So for saving the running configuration into NVRAM, NVRAM is the other configurations we have, other device we have in the switches or routers, which will store the information, which will store the configuration information. So when you save the configuration, it will go to NVRAM, and when next time when you boot the system, it will boot from that NVRAM, and that's why it is called startup it is startup configurations. So whatever configuration we have in NVRAM, it is called startup configurations. So if you want to save your configurations, then you will give command from the privilege mode, copy running configurations to startup configurations. That means you are copying the running configuration from RAM to the startup configurations of NVRAM. After that, when you switch off the switch and when you reload the switch, it will restart, but the configuration will remain there. So for saving this, what you will do, you will give command copy running configurations to startup configurations. It says which file name you want to have in the destination. By default it will save in the file name of startup-config. So I will not change the name, I will leave it as it is, and now it is saved. So now if I reload my router, if I reload my switch, now it is rebooting, but it will have the file, it will have the same changes configured, because now it is saved into the NVRAM. Now you see when I press enter, it is asking the password. Because it is now saved. And you can see show running configurations. It is now same configurations which we have configured. Because now it is saved into startup configurations. We can verify by running show startup configuration also. And we have the same configurations here. So this is to save. Then you can set the duplex for your network interface, your interface of the switches. That means switch automatically adjusts the duplex mode depending upon the remote device. That means by default it is set to auto. So auto means it will automatically adjust the duplex, full duplex, half duplex, it will automatically adjust depending on the device which we connect. But we could change this mode with any of other supported mode. Basically when it is by default set to auto. So if you want to configure, then you can go for the interface of the switch. That means whatever interface we have either fast Ethernet or gigabit. So you will give command interface, then you will mention the name of the interface and the port number. And then you can give command duplex, and if you give question mark, it will show you auto, full or half. So auto means by default it is set to auto, it will be automatically adjusted. Otherwise you can set full duplex or half duplex manually. For example, if you want to set full duplex, you will configure duplex full, or for half you will configure duplex half. But it is always best for use the auto, so that it will adjust according to the destination machine which we connect. Then flash, checking the flash memory. Now flash memory is like a hard disk in our normal PC. Like in normal PC we have operating system in it. In Cisco routers and switches we have the Cisco IOS into that flash memory. So switch stores also iOS image file in the flash memory. Show flash command will list the content of flash memory, and this command is useful to get information about iOS file and available memory space in the flash. So very simple, you can just run show flash command to see the information about your flash, about your iOS. So for example, if you want to configure the duplex, you can go to the interface and you can give command duplex, and you can have auto, full or half, but it should always be auto. You should not change it. It is better to use it on auto. Then to check the flash memory, we can give command show flash, and here we can see the number of file, the permission of file, the size of the file and the name of the file. So what we have here is the database, the iOS file and also config file also, and this is the total, and this is what available space of flash. Then we can check the running configuration by using show run command. The configuration which is in the RAM, which is running, which is not saved, and when we save the configuration, then it will go to NVRAM and we can check it into this show startup configurations. And if the startup configuration is not available, it will show the below output. Like when you have not saved any configuration and you give show startup configuration, then you will see this command like this. You will see the message startup config is not present, and if you save it, then you will see the configurations also. So we have already saved it, so we see the configurations. We did not see this configuration is not set map or not present command, not present message. Then this VLAN, now this from here it is different from router to switch. Till here like routers and switches are having the same configurations, but the switches specifically is having the VLANs. So if you want to see the VLANs, so VLAN command, show VLAN command will display the VLANs. For administrative purpose, switch automatically create VLAN 1 and assign all its interface to it. And you can create custom VLANs from global configuration mode and then assign them to interface. So by default, always in the switch we have VLAN 1, and all the ports of the switch will be the member of that VLAN. So when you give this command show VLAN, you will show the VLAN name and number and the ports which is belong to that VLAN. Now by default all interfaces are the member of VLAN 1 unless you have manually assigned them another custom VLAN. Now as you see here in the display, VLAN 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005 are the default VLANs. These are also called default VLANs for different technologies, and these are already there. So by default in every switches we have 5 VLANs. VLAN 1, VLAN 2, VLAN 1, then VLAN 1002, 1003, 1004 and 1005. So if you give show run command, so if you give show VLAN command, then it will show you all the VLANs here. So when you give show VLAN command, you see all these VLANs. You see the VLAN number, name of the VLAN is default, it is active, and these all ports are member of this VLAN. Then we have the other VLANs which is default, and these are for the other technologies like FDDI net, token ring, and TeraNet and all that. Then for checking the interface, we can give command show interfaces, and it will show you the detailed information about all the interfaces we have. The first line indicates about the line interface up or line protocol up. Now this means your protocol is up or down. We have different options, like we can have up, that means first interface is up and line is up, that means interface is up, operational. If you see first up and second down, that means it's data link layer problem. That means we have a problem on the protocol side. And if we see down, that means it is physical layer problem. Maybe it is not connected, or maybe it is having a problem on physical layer. Administratively down, that means the interface is down administratively and it is not working. The administrator has disabled it. So possible values for the physical layer status is like up, either the physical layer is up or down. The first option is for physical. So first up means switch is sensing physical layer signal, and in the first point if you see down, that means switch is not sensible physical layer signals, and possible reason could be cable is not connected, wrong cable type is used, and remote end device is turned off. Either remote end device is turned off. And if you see administratively down, that means interface is disabled by using the shutdown command. And for the software, for the data link layer, that means for the second up, that means the first one is for the physical one and the second one is for the software data link line. So in that position, if you see up, that means switch is sensing the the data link layer is operational, and if you see down, that means the data link layer is not operational. Possible reason could be disable physical layer, missed keep live on a serial link, no clocking, or incorrect encapsulation type. Whatever we have made misconfigurations basically. Then we can see the interface detail by using show IP interface. Brief is extremely useful command to get quick overview of all interfaces on switches. It lists their status including IP address and protocol, and it should be like it will look like this. So if we use show interface command, it will show detailed information. You see, one by one for every port it shows the detailed information. This is for the physical up and this is for the line protocol up. The first 4 ports are connected here, and then you can see the ports are down. They have not connected. We can use show IP interface brief also to see the detail brief information, and it also show the IP information also. The interface name, if we have assigned any IP, and then the status. First 4 ports are active, others are down. They are not administratively down, they are active, only they are not working. So this is the basic configuration and management of our Cisco switches. This is the basic management of Cisco switches, where we can see how it works, and we can configure IP addresses, we can configure passwords to secure the switch, we can save the configuration, we can see the configurations.